Before you do anything else, take a deep breath. If you clicked on this video, it was not an accident. Some of you are listening while lying awake at night. Some of you are tired in a way sleep cannot fix. And some of you are holding pain that no one in your life truly knows about. Especially the women. You've learned how to be strong quietly, how to smile when your heart feels heavy, how to keep going even when you don't understand why Allah allowed certain things to happen. And sometimes very quietly you wonder, did Allah see what I went through? Did my patience matter? Will there ever be a moment when this pain finally makes sense? This video is not here to rush you. It is not here to give quick answers. Because the truth is, some answers from Allah are too heavy to be given quickly. Over the next while, we are going to walk slowly. Not around your pain, but through it. You will begin to see why Allah allows some pain only in private. Why certain women are given trials others could not survive. Why healing is sometimes hidden. And why the tears you never explained may carry more weight than the ones people saw. But I need to tell you something important. If you leave early, you will only hear part of the story. And part of the story can still hurt. The clarity comes later. The peace comes later. The moment when your heart says, now I understand, comes near the end. So stay. Not because this is a long video, but because your heart deserves the full answer. By the time this ends, you won't feel rushed. You won't feel blamed. And you won't feel forgotten. You will feel seen. And you will know deeply, calmly, without doubt, that Allah never wasted a single tear you hid. Let's begin. Allah gave you this pain because He knew you would run to Him, not away. There are some pains that make a person angry with life. They make people turn cold. They make hearts close. But there are other pains that do something very different. They soften the heart instead of hardening it. They make a person look upward instead of walking away. If this pain pushed you toward Allah instead of away from Him, then it was never meaningless. If it made you pray when you were tired, if it made you cry in sujood even when you had no words left, if it made you whisper dua late at night because your heart felt too heavy to carry alone, then this pain was not random. Allah knew exactly what this pain would do to you. He knew that instead of turning bitter, you would turn humble. Instead of giving up, you would hold on. Instead of closing your heart, you would open it to Him. This is why it hurts the way it does. Not because Allah wants to punish you. Not because He is angry with you. Not because you did something wrong. This pain is not rejection. It is trust. Allah does not give deep pain to hearts that will completely walk away from Him. He gives it to hearts that will still knock on His door even with tears. He knew that when everything else failed you, you would still say, Ya Allah, even if your voice was shaking, even if you didn't know what to ask for anymore. Allah knew that this pain would bring out sincerity from you that comfort never could. Sometimes ease makes us forget, but pain makes us remember who we truly need. And Allah in His wisdom chose you to remember Him through this. If this pain made you more aware of Allah, more honest with Him, more dependent on Him, then this pain is already doing its job. It is shaping your heart. It is cleaning something inside you. It is pulling you closer in a way no blessing ever did. Allah knew you would not run away. He knew you would run to Him. And that is why He trusted your heart with this pain. Some tears are so sacred, Allah only allows them in private. Some tears are never meant to fall in front of people. They are too heavy to explain, too deep to put into words. So they stay hidden. You wipe them away quickly. You hold them back in public. You smile so no one asks questions you don't have the strength to answer. but those tears are not unseen. When a tear falls in private, Allah is already there. When your chest feels tight and you can't speak, Allah understands before you do. There are moments when Allah removes every human listener on purpose, not to leave you alone, but to keep the moment pure. Because when you cry in front of people, you might feel the need to explain. You might try to justify your pain. You might worry about being judged. But when you cry in front of Allah, there is no performance, no fear, no shame, just honesty. Those quiet tears carry a different weight. They come from a place that words cannot reach. They rise from the heart straight to Allah. And Allah treats them differently. These tears wash the heart. They soften what life has hardened. They clean wounds you didn't even know were open. You may think no one noticed how much you were holding inside, but Allah noticed the moment your heart almost broke and still trusted Him. Sometimes Allah allows pain to stay hidden because the healing needs privacy. Too many eyes can disturb it. Too many opinions can slow it down. So Allah gives you the gift of secrecy. In that secrecy, your relationship with Him becomes deeper. Your dua becomes more real. Your faith becomes quieter but stronger. And one day, you will realize something beautiful. The tears you hid were never wasted. They were never ignored. They were never too small. They were moments of closeness. Moments Allah allowed only between you and Him. And what is shared with Allah alone is always protected, honored, and rewarded in ways the world will never see. Your heart was chosen for a trial others couldn't survive. There are trials that look small from the outside, but inside they feel unbearable. People may hear your story and think, that's not so bad, but they do not feel the weight it placed on your heart. They do not know how many nights it followed you into sleep. They do not know how often you had to hold yourself together just to get through the day. Allah knows. There are some pains that, if given to the wrong heart, would completely destroy it. They would take away hope. They would make a person lose trust in everything. Allah did not give this to you by accident. He knows the strength hidden inside your heart. Strength you never asked for. Strength you never even knew was there. You might feel weak now. You might feel tired. You might feel like you are barely holding on. But weakness does not mean lack of strength. It often means strength has been used for too long. Allah saw that even when you were hurt, you still tried to do right. Even when you were disappointed, you still prayed. Even when your heart felt broken, you did not let it turn cruel. This is not ordinary endurance. Some people fall apart when things go wrong once. Some hearts shatter when expectations are not met. But you were given a trial that demanded patience again and again, and you are still standing, not because you are fearless, not because you are unbothered, but because Allah is holding you up when you feel like you cannot hold yourself anymore. Allah chooses hearts carefully. He does not test randomly. He does not overload without wisdom. He knew that even when this pain confused you, you would not lose your sense of right and wrong. He knew that even when you felt broken, you would still carry kindness inside you. This pain was not a mistake. It was not misjudged. It was placed on a heart Allah knew would survive. Not without tears, not without struggle, but with faith still alive. And even if you don't feel strong right now, know this. The fact that you are still turning to Allah, still asking Him to help you, still believing there is meaning in this pain, that alone is proof that Allah chose the right heart. Allah is using what hurt you to rewrite who you are becoming. Pain never comes and leaves a person the same. Even when you wish it would just disappear, it quietly changes something inside you. At first, it feels like loss. like something was taken from you without permission. Like life suddenly stopped making sense. But Allah is doing work you cannot yet see. Pain has a way of removing what was false. It breaks illusions you once lived with. It strips away the things you depended on too much. It shows you what truly matters and what never did. You may notice that you no longer see life the way you used to. Things that once excited you no longer move your heart the same way. People you once trusted deeply may no longer hold the same place inside you. This is not emptiness. This is clarity forming. Allah uses pain to rewrite a person from the inside, not to harden them, but to make them wiser, more aware and more sincere. You may feel like you lost a version of yourself, and in a way you did, but that version needed to go. The woman you were before this pain was innocent in some ways. She trusted easily. She believed things would always stay the same. The woman you are becoming is different. She understands boundaries. She understands her worth. She understands that Allah is the only constant when everything else shifts. This change is not punishment. It is preparation. Allah is not destroying you. He is shaping you for a life that requires more strength, more wisdom, and deeper faith. Sometimes Allah allows pain to stay long enough so it can finish the work it came to do. You may wish things would return to how they were, but Allah sees where you are going and knows you cannot arrive there as the same person. So He uses what hurt you to teach you how to stand again, how to trust differently, how to love with balance, how to rely on Him without fear. One day, you will look back and realize something quietly powerful. The pain that changed you did not ruin your life. It prepared you for a better one that only Allah could see from the very beginning. The silence around your pain is part of Allah's protection. Sometimes the hardest part of pain is not the pain itself, but how alone it feels. You look around and realize there is no one who truly understands what you are carrying. People may be around you, yet your heart feels isolated, not because you push them away, but because Allah allowed space to form. And that space is not a mistake. There are moments when Allah deliberately quiets the world around you, not to punish you, not to abandon you, but to protect you. Too many voices can confuse a wounded heart. Too many opinions can make you doubt yourself. Too much advice can pull you in directions you were never meant to go. So Allah creates silence. In that silence, you begin to hear your own heart again. You begin to recognize what truly hurts and what truly matters. You begin to see which attachments were draining you instead of strengthening you. This quiet is not emptiness. It is safety. Allah hides some pain because if the wrong people saw it, they might misunderstand it. They might minimize it. They might use it in ways that cause more harm than healing. So Allah keeps it between you and Him. In this quiet season, your healing becomes more sincere. You stop performing strength for people. You stop explaining yourself. You stop seeking approval for your pain. Instead, you begin to place your heart directly in Allah's care. The silence teaches you reliance. It teaches you how to stand without leaning on unstable support. It teaches you that Allah alone is enough when everything else falls quiet. And slowly, without you realizing it, the silence begins to heal you. Not loudly, not suddenly, but gently. One day, you will understand why Allah did not allow everyone to be present during this part of your life. Some pain needed privacy, so it could turn into strength without being disturbed. And Allah, in His mercy, protected you by surrounding your pain with silence. You were not meant to heal in front of people. Not every part of your life was meant to be witnessed. Some moments are meant to be lived quietly, without explanation. without attention, without an audience. Healing is one of those moments. There are times when Allah allows you to heal away from people, not because you are unworthy of support, but because too many eyes can place pressure on a fragile heart. When people are watching, you may feel the need to look strong. You may feel forced to prove that you are okay before you truly are. You may rush your healing just to meet expectations. Allah does not want that for you. So He removes the crowd. In this quiet space, you are allowed to feel everything honestly. You are allowed to be tired without explaining why. You are allowed to take your time without apologizing. This kind of healing is slow, but it is real. Allah knows that some strength only grows in privacy. Some faith deepens when no one is clapping. Some wounds close only when they are not constantly reopened by questions. You may feel like your life has become small, like nothing dramatic is happening, like you are hidden from the world. But you are not being reduced, you are being refined. Allah is teaching you how to stand on your own feet again with Him. He is teaching you how to trust your heart without fear, how to love without losing yourself, how to exist without needing constant reassurance. This private healing builds a strength that does not disappear when life becomes loud again. One day, people will see your calm. They will notice your steadiness. They will wonder how you became so grounded. They will not see the quiet nights, the silent tears, the slow rebuilding. But Allah will know, and that is enough. Because what heals in private stands firm in public. And what Allah builds quietly cannot be easily shaken. What almost broke you is already interceding for you in the unseen. There are things you went through that almost broke you, and sometimes you wonder what purpose they could possibly have served. You remember the nights when sleep would not come, the moments when your chest felt heavy for no clear reason, the days when you smiled on the outside while something inside you was quietly collapsing. You may think those moments are gone now, that they passed and disappeared like forgotten days. But nothing you endured for Allah is ever lost. Every tear you held back, every pain you carried silently, every time you chose patience when it would have been easier to give up, all of it still exists. Not in your memory alone, but in the unseen. Those moments stand as witnesses for you. When you had no words left, Allah counted your silence. When you felt too tired to explain yourself, Allah understood without explanation. When you stayed kind even though life hardened you, Allah recorded that choice. What almost broke you did not disappear. It transformed. It became proof of your sincerity. It became evidence of your trust in Allah. It became a voice speaking on your behalf when you did not know how to speak for yourself anymore. Sometimes Allah allows pain to reach the edge of what you can bear, because that pain carves depth into the soul. It teaches humility without humiliation. It teaches reliance without despair. It teaches strength without pride. You may feel like your suffering went unnoticed, but in the unseen, it has weight. It speaks when you are silent. It testifies when you are exhausted. It stands for you when you feel small. On days when you feel unworthy, remember that Allah knows exactly how much it cost you to keep believing. On days when you feel forgotten, remember that your endurance has already been written as honor. And one day, when you stand before Allah, you will see that what almost broke you was never against you. It was quietly working for you all along. One day, Allah will make sense of every tear you never explained. There will come a day when confusion no longer lives in your heart. A day when the questions that kept you awake at night finally grow quiet. A day when the pain that never made sense begins to take shape, not because time alone healed you, But because Allah allowed you to see, right now there are tears you never explained to anyone, moments you never defended, pain you carried without asking for understanding. You may still wonder why it had to be this way, why it had to hurt so deeply, why it had to last longer than you thought you could survive. But Allah does not leave stories unfinished. There is wisdom you cannot yet hold, because your heart is still healing. There is clarity waiting for you, but it arrives only when the heart is ready to receive it. Allah knows the exact moment when understanding will no longer hurt you, and that is when He gives it. One day you will look back and realize that every delay was protection. Every unanswered question was shaping patience. Every tear you hid was building strength you could not see at the time. You will see how Allah was guiding you without announcing it, how He was removing what would have harmed you later, how He was leading you towards something safer, purer, and more fitting for your soul. And when that understanding finally arrives, it will not feel bitter. It will feel peaceful. You will not say, why did this happen to me? You will quietly say, now I see why it had to happen. Because Allah never wastes pain. He transforms it. He turns confusion into wisdom. He turns loss into growth. He turns hidden tears into elevated ranks. And when Allah finally reveals the meaning behind what you endured, your heart will feel something unexpected. Gratitude, not because the pain was easy, but because it led you to a version of yourself that could only be created through Allah's perfect wisdom and care. If you are still here, then your heart needed this reminder. You did not stay because of words. You stayed because something inside you was finally being understood. And now, as we reach the end, let me leave you with this piece. Everything you went through, the nights you cried quietly, the strength you showed when you were exhausted, the patience you lived with even when answers were delayed, none of it was wasted. Not a single tear, not a single prayer whispered under your breath, not a single moment when you chose Allah while your heart was hurting. Allah saw it all. Even when no one else knew what you were carrying, Allah knew the exact weight of it. And if Allah allowed you to carry this pain, it is because He knew it would not destroy you, it would refine you. One day, maybe sooner than you expect, Allah will replace the confusion with clarity, the heaviness with calm, and the questions with understanding. And when that day comes, you will not look back with regret. You will look back with peace. So if your heart still feels tender right now, place it gently in Allah's care. Trust Him with what you do not yet understand. Lean on Him when strength feels far away. And remember quietly, deeply, confidently, Allah never wastes a woman's pain, not even the tears she hides. May Allah heal every heart that listened until the end. May He replace every hidden tear with light. And may He reward your patience in ways that leave you at peace. Amen. Rest your heart. You're safe with Allah.